you?
I am great. How are you?
Good. You holding up so far?
Doing great.
Okay, good. Now, first of all, you look great.
Thank
Your
you.
hair looks great. And I want to say that because sometimes I picture your hair. When I picture your hair, I picture it a little different. This is a photo of the way I usually picture your hair. Now, this is... Are you just a busy man?
That was after the electric shock.
Oh, yes, of course. Now, I want to talk to you about this campaign. There's been a lot of press about you recently. You describe yourself as a democratic socialist. And that is, some would say, a dangerous thing politically to describe you as. We have a president right now who does not consider himself a socialist, but people call him a socialist as an insult. Are you worried or concerned at all about framing yourself as this, that a thing that so many people have a negative connotation?
Not if we have the opportunity to describe what democratic socialism means. And what that means is you have countries like Denmark, Sweden, Norway, other European countries which have had social democratic governments and labor governments. And the result of that is, in those countries, health care is a right of all people. I don't see that as a great problem. At a time when so many of our young people can't afford to go to college, tuition is free in many of those countries. Excellent. They have excellent child care, strong retirement benefits. They're often very strongly pro-environment, taking on climate change. So I think when people understand that in those countries, governments are working for the middle class rather than the billionaire class, I think we can get our message across.
I agree. And as someone who just came back from Sweden, I can also tell you they speak Swedish there. That is... Now, it's interesting. I always find that politicians are in trouble whenever they say our country should emulate other countries. I feel like there's this idea that America, certainly when you talk about politics, you have to frame us as we do everything perfectly. Is it dangerous? How hard is it to say we should, in this field, we should be more like...
I think we've got to be honest. There are a lot of things that we do very, very well. But there are things that we do not do particularly well. Are we happy that 99% of all new income is going to the top 1%? Are we happy that one family in this country owns more wealth than the bottom 130 million people? Are we happy that we have a campaign finance system now through Citizens United that allows billionaires to buy elections? Are we happy that we are not fighting effectively against climate change? So I think smart people look around the world and they say, look, this is what we are doing well, but this is what other countries are doing well. And I think we should learn and not be afraid to emulate the good things that are going on in other countries.
Now you are...
Numbers, they are startling, they're overwhelming with what Bernie Sanders says and what the American public agrees with. Do you have those, a notion of what those numbers are?
Well, right now, I know for a fact that this is very important. A straw poll that just came out in Wisconsin yesterday showed that Hillary Clinton is down to 49% of the vote. Bernie Sanders is up to 41% of the vote. And it is because he's out there talking about issues and putting forward policies on the issues that the American voters really do care about.
Well, okay, let's go down the list. This is interesting. 63% of Americans agree that the current distribution of wealth is unfair. 52% think that government taxation on the rich should be used to close the gap. 79% of the American people believe that education beyond high school is not affordable and government should get involved. 57% of the people under 30 believe student debt is a problem for not only youth but for the workability of our system. Now, these are all things that Bernie's talking about, you see. Right. But corporate media says, no, Bernie's just a crank. I mean, he's not. The interesting thing is the more Bernie talks, the more they compare Bernie to Hillary Clinton, the clearer the division is. They say, okay, over here's Hillary. She's being sucked into the Republican vacuum further to the right. She's not even a centrist anymore. She's moving to the right. Bernie is standing his ground to the left, and corporate media hates that, don't they? In about 30 seconds, give me your take.
Well, here's what's interesting. Bernie Sanders talks about these issues because he believes in them. Corporate media dismisses Bernie Sanders, and I think it's because he's talking about these issues. These issues don't make for great ratings. When was the last time you saw any of the major networks cover the stories that he's talking about? Not just him, but these stories. The stories that you and I talk about on here every single day because they matter. but they're not ratings grabbers for corporate media, so they don't pay attention, and so they dismiss Bernie Sanders. And it's going to be to their detriment, because I guarantee you his poll numbers are going to continue to climb.
Well, there's no question that the corporate media would fully embrace the Republicans if it weren't for a few cultural issues. They are Republican. Thank you for joining me, Farron.
Thank you.